farming in general, every part of it is contextual. It's specific to your climate, it's specific to your soil type, it's specific to any piece of your environment that's, you know, like a variable can change the way you would do things efficiently. Oh wait, no, this starts the sweet crisp. So this starts the sweet crisp of the Johnny's Salanova mix. This is the incised. This here, I grew up on like a small little family farm. We had horses and we raised dairy goats. I had chickens, and I've had a garden since I was about like 7 years old. This was 2 properties, so they belong to these houses. They came together and sold it to a developer, the guy who's leasing me this lot now, who never actually developed it. The in-ground swimming pool was the biggest one in East Orange. It used to be right in that back section where the raised beds are. The first volunteer day that I had here with like friends and family, that was the first time that I really talked to the people that live in that house. Every once in a while, their grandchildren will be there. One of them's name is London, and she always comes over to the fence and wants to talk about the garden. And some people want to be more involved, some less, and some are just waiting for me to approach them with free produce. So, which you know, since I've actually had harvest, I've gone over to some people that I've never really formally met and brought them some stuff to try out, and that usually sparks a conversation. And I think that's a lot of what Dave was saying, one of the neighbors, when we talk sometimes, he always reminds me that, you know, in places like this, people are often promised a lot and then they never actually see the result. So I think it's a lot of them just watching and waiting to see if this actually happens as it says it will. And so it's kind of my job now to just keep going until that moment. And I know that Clary and his wife Marilyn sit at their window back there and watch me a lot. And sometimes they'll open the window and say, "Hurry up, faster!" Keep going.
Struggling.
It's technically still sort of my neighborhood. I live in the same ward, just, you know, less than a mile down the road. But it's just kind of interesting to see that, you know, you get what you give back to your community. And directly in a neighborhood, I mean, I don't live here, but I feel like I do. The more that you engage your neighbors, the more that they will give back to you. So that's kind of, I feel like, something that is really kind of missing in this day and age when it comes to where we live and where we plant ourselves. I'll be done. If you start really thinking about it, the soil has an ecosystem much like our planet in general does. It's just a smaller version of it, and so there's life in there. There's colonies in there. There's, you know, there's a lot of things happening. It's not just dirt. So when I came to this plot of land, I had the decision to make whether I was going to rototill things, the whole lot from the beginning, or if I was going to be no-till from the start. And there were certain things that drove me in the direction of being no-till from the start. One of them was when I dug in the dirt and found, like, in a handful you could find like a dozen worms. And I knew that if I pushed a rototiller through, it would kill all of them. And it would take 18 months at least for them to repopulate the soil as well as the microorganisms. Rural farms and small farms, when it's a small farming operation, especially young farmers or new farmers, beginning farmers, we share the same sets of issues for the most part. Land access is the biggest one, right? And then access to the resources we need, whether it be educational, the capital shortages. It's been really difficult to get the city to take me seriously and to treat me like they would a small business coming into their community. They've kind of been difficult to work with, to say the least. So it's been challenging in a lot of ways. It slowed me down for a long time, actually. I had about a month and a half that I didn't really do any work here. I was frozen. I didn't know if I should keep going or stop, and they kind of set me through this like gaslighting sort of process. It was really overwhelming, and made me feel like I was doing something wrong or terrible for the community. And it was after I I really just looked at it. I stepped back and looked at what was going on, and I have a garden here. Like, I'm growing food in the ground. I'm not putting up a building. I'm not doing anything like that. So nothing I'm doing is illegal. Nothing I'm doing is something they could shut down. So I just decided to keep going. With the encouragement of all my neighbors. They all know what's going on and what has been going on, and it's really just something that I'm hoping that they'll come around. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I'm already here and I'm already doing it. I'm not going to stop. I can't right now. The biggest thing that I worry about is the onslaught of large vertical farming operations that use their novelty to take the business away from the actual small farmer. It's just about remaining aware and conscious of it all. And at the end of the day, just like I've experienced in this part of New Jersey, like, there's authenticity and there's inauthenticity, and people are going to use buzzwords now to further their marketing and to further their business. And it's just about becoming educated as a consumer. So all the way down to that level, each person has the power to make that difference. And it's your own responsibility to make that decision, to choose awareness and to choose the right thing. But I can't change everybody, so I try not to worry too much about it, and I'm happy with my dozen CSA members and my 7 restaurants that buy from me, and that's enough to sustain me right now. And to know that there's at least that many people out there that are supportive of what I'm doing means enough. So yeah, you can get lost in all that conversation about big ag taking over this or that, but at the end of the day, like, what am I concerned with? Feeding my family, raising children in this type of environment, and building my community. So that's all I need is my community.